Sally, to be truthful with you, I haven't seen the minutes of the last meeting.
There were no minutes for the last meeting because it wasn't a real meeting.
Oh, that's why.
Yep, so it's the meeting one from the 13th of April.
And that's so far back, I don't remember. But I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. Because I didn't hear any corrections from anyone.
And Ron, I'll second them, Mrs. Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Any corrections?
Mm-mm.
Joe's
Nope.
here. I
Nope.
make a motion to accept those minutes. Please say
Aye.
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 Joe, you with us? Not quite.
How about now?
Now
There we
you're
got
good.
you.
Okay. Today, 11th of May. Informal, 20 Mackinac Shores. Anyone?
I got in touch with Mark Stinson and asked him if he would come help us with this one.
Great.
Any reply to that?
I haven't really gotten anything firm from him, but I told him I would like him to come out and take a look.
All right.
Can I join you when he comes out, Sally?
Sure, that'd be fine.
Yep, thank you.
We'll send out an email so everybody can participate.
Great, thank you.
Jackson, did you want to perk up here for something?
Yes, myself and Lori Robbins are both here on behalf of 20 Mackinac Shores, and I believe Lori's got some things to say, and I was going to share some things on screen that would be helpful.
All right, you got the screen.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can. Who's
Okay,
this?
good. I was just approached about this little quagmire today. And as I understand it, there was an order of conditions issued based upon a survey done by the very reputable Foresight Land Services that shows the existing conditions that was approved. Minutes of the meeting anticipated that there would be several boulders placed to deal with this order of conditions. And this was all approved. The owner then set out to do this work and remove the existing building after all the permits were issued. But I understand there was some concern about the changing of the shoreline. And I can certainly understand the concern that abutters might have to changing conditions. And I understand there was subsequently a stock work order. But then after some further discussion with Foresight, it was clear that what they were proposing to do and what they were going to do and what they were permitted to do was all in sync. Then it was winter, and of course, because the stop work order was issued, the owner couldn't continue the work throughout the winter. And now that it's spring, I understand from the applicant, Jeffrey Ray, that then the Conservation Commission said, why aren't you shoring up your work? Why aren't you continuing your work? And he says, I can't do it in the wintertime. I'll begin in the spring. And now that he's beginning in the spring, he's proceeding, but trying to make sure everybody is clear on what they're doing is in compliance with the existing order of conditions. And I understand from Steve Mack that there was a meeting 2 weeks ago where he was trying to explain what was proposed. And I think there's minutes of the meeting that when this was approved, that it was clear that they were going to be putting some boulders there as part of their order of conditions in connection with removing the old and putting in a new house. And then there was some discussion about or misunderstanding about I guess the abutters are challenging the existing conditions, and Steve Mack is clear that his work is accurate. And I think that what Jackson has is there's a 2014 aerial of this property that shows the shoreline. And this all may be academic for your board at the moment because, so let's see, Jackson, if you can show the shoreline that's from 2014. Yeah, this is a Google map that shows the shoreline. And there's some dispute about whether this distance is true. And then this jutting out area was actually there. And I gather that the abutters are saying, no, that wasn't there. But from what Steve Mack tells me, none of the abutters have actually been able to demonstrate what they say is accurate. And as we all know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their facts. So I understand there's a stalemate here as to what the existing conditions were. And I was going to suggest, Sally, exactly what you suggested, which is that the Conservation Commission meet at the shoreline with Steve Mack, the existing conditions plan, the aerial, and anything else he has to demonstrate that the applicant is in fact proposing to build exactly what he was permitted to do with the order of conditions. And if that requires, and maybe that might be a good idea to have Mark Stinson come out and be sort of a moderator, mediator. But we're looking for direction here, how to get this project back on track so that the shoreline can be addressed and it's not left in this purgatory condition. This is probably not a good idea. So anyway, so I was asked to appear before your board to find out what your agenda is, how you propose to move forward, so that everybody's comfortable with what the applicant is doing here.
Might I speak up here? From this aerial view, I do believe there's a tree or more than one to the left a little. I see, yeah, that seems to be a big tree. Whether or not the whole thing is there, if there's more than one there, I can't tell from this aerial. That sort of obscures the shoreline. On the other corner, there's another tree. That's it, yeah, right there is the only shoreline we can see. Right where your cursor is and where the red arrow is. And I'm not sure on that what it is or where it is, but all right, so
Ron, if I could add a couple things, might help clarify a little bit as well. So this is from and like Lori said, we'd be happy to have Steve Mack meet you on site and take measurements to the existing conditions right now. But what's shown here is measured in Google Earth. So it's approximately 43 feet from about 90 degrees from the shoreline to the closest point of the house. And if I can pull up our existing conditions plan from 2018, I can just point out that measurement on our site plan as well. So as you can see here, right about 90 degrees from the shoreline to the very closest point of the house is 43.3 feet, as was surveyed on February 14th of 2018. Right to what's shown as the edge of this existing wall here and the high water line. So that's what we believe is sufficient evidence to show that this is the existing conditions in 2014 are consistent with the existing conditions we surveyed in 2018 and what should be consistent with what's out there right now.
Jackson, how do
Jackson,
we?
I have some concerns about the fact that it says edge of lake on November 27th, 2017, which would have been after a drawdown.
Correct. Yep. So the water level was surveyed right here, high water line riprap. That was in February of 2018, and then in 2017, this was surveyed on the same horizontal datum that this survey was done and applied to this plan. And that's just the drawdown level of the lake for reference.
There seems to be I think the thing that's the sticking point for us is the stakes that are in the water. And without, it's so hard to tell for sure. But it seems to us on the visits that we've been in there that the new project is going out to the edge of the lake as it was defined in November 27th, 2017, which would be in the middle of the drawdown.
Well, might we suggest that you visit the site with Steve Mack and you can measure from the existing building to what's being proposed now and compare those measurements to our existing measurements here, and hopefully see that the shoreline is about 43.3 feet in change away from the existing building. Because
What existing building is that?
oh, has it been removed now?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Long-
building
long
isn't there.
a long time ago.
Yeah, not only is the building not there, but a lot of the trees that we could use to measure from are not there. This is the conundrum that we face at this point.
I see.
And
sorry,
that
I haven't
The
been up
project
there.
has proceeded in I guess, the walkway and some other plantings.
Yeah, as per the order of conditions. But yeah, I see the difficulty.
I think the concern, Ron, may I speak? It's Jamie.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I think it's, the boulders, I don't remember any boulders to be in the lake, but maybe that was a part of the original. I think when the problem arose, Attorney Robbins, was when Mr. Ray came back to the planning board to change some things with the building, which has been taken down. And then it was noticed that the railroad ties and these enormous boulders were in the lake. But I do believe that a 7-year-old Google map is too old. I don't think that we wouldn't have accepted that, but I could be wrong. Also, I don't think we want to hold up this project just to make sure that it is accurate and fair to everyone involved, and that everyone, compromises. So I don't think we're trying to be difficult, just want to be accurate and fair.
Yep, we understand. And
Oh, go ahead.
And also, Jackson, we had some questions from as to whether the current plan, the one that they're working from, is the one that was approved for the special permit. There seems to be some question about that.
well, I believe they're seeking an amendment to the current special permit.
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
I've seen the plans, but I'm told that they've chosen not to go with the fabulous design by Pam Sandler. And they're going with the slightly smaller, different plan that's Dave Lanou construction. And they had sought to have a modification of the special permits from the Lake and Pond Overlay District, special the planning board, and the selectmen to modify the footprint and the exterior. And they were told by those boards that, no, you have to apply for entirely new, you can't just do a modification. So I've advised them first, you have to make peace with the Conservation Commission that what you're doing and what you're progressing to do is what you're doing. So make peace with the conservation, let them know, convince them, demonstrate to them that what you're doing complies with what was permitted, including the plantings. If they can proceed with that plan and the Conservation Commission says, okay, we see what you're doing is not in violation of the plan. There's nothing more we can do to prevent you from continuing to work according to the permitted plan, then the owner would proceed with their applications to both of the planning board and the selectmen to modify the structure, the location of the structure, which is going to be smaller footprint, slightly different configuration on the exterior, but no changes whatsoever to the order of conditions or to the shore or to the shoreline. So that's where we're stuck at the moment, is they need to make the Conservation Commission comfortable that what they're doing in the shoreline area is in compliance with the order of conditions. And there's some misunderstanding, misinformation, who knows? But the applicant would like the opportunity to meet on site with the Conservation Commission and Steve Mack to use as many coordinates to demonstrate that what they're doing there and what they're proposing to do there, and everybody understands what they're going to do there, is what was permitted for the order of conditions. Once there's a comfort level with the Conservation Commission, then I would suggest to the owner that they then progress to the next stage, which is applying to change the footprint of the existing. It's going to be smaller. But I think the flashpoint, the controversy, the problem right now is where's the shoreline? And where there
Well,
was
that's definitely a problem, but the
Yeah.
other issue is, as you know, Lori, that if it's not, the order of conditions states that you can't begin work unless you've received all your permits. So if they're going back for a special permit with different plans, then in fact, they have not received all their permits.
And Attorney Robbins, this is Lisa. I'm new on the commission. Can you tell me the date of the minutes that you referenced with the order of conditions?
Jackson, I think you have those. June something of,
June
Yes, it was.
2020.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
June
correct.
2020. Thank
And
you.
the site visit was July of 2020.
Thank you.
so,
This is Ron. I will definitely need another site visit. If we can get Mark Stinson to go with us, that'd be great. And we bring as many photos as we can, and we may be able to resolve this in one more outing.
that would be excellent. So when would you propose to do that?
But he's got to get back to us, and then we can get back to everyone else, hopefully soon. I'd like to do it this week or early next, but we'll see how that works.
I mean, it was a lovely proposal. It looks beautiful. What we saw the other day when we went down was, just the kind of thing that we like to see along the lake. It was pretty, it was natural. But the question is still whether they've added another 6 feet into the water.
So it'll depend on where they can, so if the existing structure is gone, you can't measure from that distance. I'm sure the surveyed work can measure the distance from some other point.
It's kind of hard, Lori. I don't know if you've been down to see it, but there's basically nothing there.
Right. But there's
So-
iron pins. The frontage on Mackinac Shore Road is set by iron pins.
Yeah,
Correct. We could have that confirmed by survey if that's what's
that
necessary.
would help. That would help clear it up, at least for us. I don't know if it's going to make the neighbors any happier.
Well, they have to accept the facts for what they are.
Yeah,
Can
the
the
survey
neighbors
would
ask a
be
question?
beyond a doubt.
Who's got a
Can the neighbors
question?
ask a question?
Yes. Sir,
So I
identify
guess I
yours- Identify
Hi,
yourself, please.
Yeah, this is Tom Fine, and we're the northern abutters. I guess someone mentioned that this high water line was determined in February of 2018. Wouldn't that have been during a drawdown? And I guess I have a basic question is, how do you define the high water line?
I can speak to that. My job as an environmental analyst is often to delineate wetland resource areas, very often being the mean annual high water mark of a body of water. And Stockbridge Bowl being inland bank resource area, just like any other lake. It's measured through a variety of different variables, the current water level, water staining, vegetation, soil hydrology. So if it was shown on our survey as the high water line, it was likely determined by an environmental analyst and delineated as the mean annual high water mark, where the highest point where the water reaches typically on a given year, barring any kind of a large outlier. So it's not an exact science to where a mean annual high water mark lies, but it's up to, you know, survey crews and analysts to often determine that. And this is where it was determined to be in February of 2018.
Right, but wouldn't that have been artificially low?
Correct, but we would use things like water staining on the rocks, leaf litter level, and the vegetation line, very importantly, to delineate that mean annual high water mark. So it can be done in the winter during a drawdown.
I mean, I think part of our concern is that the lakefront now looks completely different than it did.
Agreed.
There were these riprap rocks that were sometimes underwater and sometimes not.
Mhm.
There are now rocks that will never be underwater, sticking out just as far.
Yeah, I can
And
understand.
my other question is, if these poles in the water are delineating the mean high water line,
They're not.
why are they in a foot of water?
I'm not sure about the stakes you're referring to.
Well, we're told those stakes are what delineate the mean high water line by Mr. Ray.
I have to say also that one of the comments that Mark Stinson made is there is no such thing as a mean high water mark, mean annual high water mark in a lake, that it's the top of bank.
Right, and this is way below the top of the bank. We have pictures that show this lake front, what it used to look like. And it did not stick out this far.
Which we provided.
Which we sent to the Conservation Commission. And I don't want to stop Mr. Ray from building his house, but I just don't want the lakefront to be destroyed, which is what has happened there.
I have a question here, if I could. And that is that there's a property line both north and south that evidently has a pin somewhere down near the lake that looks to me like it would be pinned at the high water mark. Now, I've been down there and it looks like whoever this project belongs to has created his own peninsula beyond what those marks are. And I've been told that you can go on Google Earth and you can look back in years and months and so forth and so on and see what actually was there. I did that, and then I went down to the site and I looked and I thought to myself, this isn't what I saw on Google Maps. So Jackson, can you address that, especially the property line thing? I mean, there's a north-south line. There's obviously a pin somewhere down near the bowl on the north side. And there's another pin somewhere down near the south side. And there's a straight line in between the two. I would assume everything to the left or to the west of that belongs to Stockbridge Bowl, and everything to the east of that belongs to whomever's doing this project. Which also, I went down there the other day when it was pouring down rain, and it looked lovely with all the stuff that was just flowing into the lake, and mulch. So can we talk about that a little bit?
John, are you saying there was significant erosion on the site?
Well, it was just mulch, Sally. I mean, you know, I mean, there was other erosion there too, but I mean, the mulch was obviously going in the lake, which I'm sure the property owner wouldn't be happy about. But the fact of the matter is, it's going to happen over and over and over again. And I don't think the lake objects to the to the mulch, but the property owner might not really like that. But I'd like to address the pin from next to Tom and Bill's house, which is on the north side of the, or on the, north side of the property.
I can point that
Down
out.
to the pin on the south end, and that particular property line, and what has been changed as far as that straight
Yeah.
property line is concerned.
Could I mention one thing that may be helpful? We have surveys from when we built our new house, and we have a measurement from the corner of our new house to the high water line at the corner of our property with Mr. Ray. The exact corner.
That could be helpful.
That would be helpful to provide to the commission if you don't mind.
Not at all.
So if I could address the property line issue here. This northern property corner pin shown right here, which we show at elevation 95, which is an assumed vertical datum. That's right here. That does not necessarily delineate the edge of this property. I would have to look at the deed to be sure of that, how it reads, if it reads to the shoreline of the lake, or if it reads to these two pins here. In 2018, this pin shown right here, the filled in dark circle right there, that means that pin was found, and so hopefully will still be there today, and that could be used for measurement and confirming the shoreline. This pin to the south here was shown not to be found in 2018, but we have it mapped on our plan to where it roughly should be according to deed information. So that won't be particularly useful for measurement right there. But another thing I could point out is this pin is up at elevation 95. And elevation 95 is way up here on the neighboring property to the south. And same with up here, a good 8 feet above the lake level there. And the lake level shown over here. And I think you would find the same situation today. You could go find that, hopefully that pin is still there, and you'll see that you're far up in elevation from the existing lake level, and you can hopefully measure this distance, and Steve Mack could provide you with this distance here from this property corner pin to both of any of these lines here for reference, and hopefully that would help clear some things up. So hopefully nothing has happened to that pin and that's still there.
So I have a question for Jackson and Lori.
Sure.
And that is, from that pin next to Tom and Bill's house to the lake, go left, to the lake. And also, let's say there is a pin over here someplace, then to the lake. What is that, no man's land? You can do whatever, you can do whatever you want with it.
It completely depends on the way their deed is written.
Do we know how the deed is written?
I don't have it in front of me at the moment, but we could.
And that's what I'm desperately searching for in my file, but I can't seem to locate it. It's based upon a plan of Mackinac Heights, Mackinac
Shores.
Shores. You know, there was a survey done in the 40s or something. And I know I have it somewhere.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. But that's another thing that we could provide to you at a site visit or before that date.
Well, at the site visit, I would like to see that.
All right, so we will schedule a site visit when we can get all parties together and the information we need. Those that wish to be invited to this site visit, please let us know or send an email to the Concom, and we will get back to you when this will be scheduled.
We do need permission from the homeowner to have random people come to the property.
Yeah, please let us know the date and time, and we'll be sure to get his permission.
And may I ask Tom and Bill if you have evidence or photographs or survey work or anything that demonstrates your position? Can it be shared with me as well?
Sure.
and Steve Mack, because we want to make sure everybody's comfortable with the facts.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't know how to get a hold of Steve Mack, but let us know and we'll
Well,
send
if
them
you
to him.
can forward it to Concom, and if Concom can then share it with us.
Concom has our photographs.
We do have the photographs.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I found the plot over the weekend with the measurement from our house to the lakefront. So I'll get that to you.
Okay,
Yep. And
Okay.
perfect.
And can whoever, I'm trying to see if you're still here. Whoever is iPad Emily, can you tell me who you are? And iPhone
I
Dorothy?
apologize. Hello?
Yes,
I am iPad Emily. I am here as a representative for my mother, Marion
you are?
Lipson. My mother is Marion Lipson. She owns number 8 Mackinac Shores.
okay, I just need to know who you are for the minutes.
Okay, all right. My first name is Emily. My last name is Lee. And my husband
Okay.
is Richard. He was also, the two of us were here together.
Okay. And I have one other question. Wait, where'd it go? iPhone Dorothy. iPhone Dorothy, can you identify yourself? You're muted if you're trying to talk.
That's probably Dorothy Kahn, who is the abutter to the east.
Uh, Is that Kahn?
Yes.
Dorothy, can you verify that that's who this is? Because I do need, do
Okay,
need,
here I am, because I'm I'm in the middle of a business transaction here.
that's okay. Just
Can
say
you
I'm
hear
Dorothy
me now?
Kahn. That's all I need to know.
I am Dorothy Kahn, and
Okay,
I'm Dorothy Kahn, and
that's all I need
want
to
to see
know.
my whole
Thank
face?
you.
Here it is.
That's all I need
Okay,
to
thank
know. I
you.
just need to have everybody, I need to have everybody documented for the minutes. Thank you.
All right, so when we get more information, we will distribute the information to everyone interested. On
I will be
when-
away from the 16th through the 24th. Not that that's an earth-shattering thing, but I will not be here.
Well, what's today? Today is the 12th,
11th.
11th.
Yep.
Well, we'll see if we can get it this week.
Okay.
We will try. We will let everybody know.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for participating. Okay.
All right. We have Eric, are you here? I don't see you. Okay, we have 2 Beechwood Drive.
We kind of skipped over Mr. Minkler.
We can take Mr. Minkler. He's here. He's been waiting.
Mr. Minkler, you're muted. Can't hear you.
Deb, you need to unmute.
Okay, now?
There you go.
You're good.
All right, okay,
Talk to us.
all right. With your permission, the board's permission, we'd like to run electric line and a water line from Old Tree Farm Road up to a new house that we're building for my son, Andrew. And I'll try to explain the procedure, which I just found out today that we're using. It's called horizontal directional boring. And the way it was explained to me, and you can actually go online and there's some YouTubes that you'll look at, but they're going to dig a little small pit out by the electrical box at Old Tree Farm Road, and then use this boring machine, and it goes down underground, probably 4 to 5 feet, and then runs probably 350 to 400 feet, all underground, not disturbing anything on top of the ground up to where the house is going to be. And this is common procedure now, which I was unaware of, but it's probably 150 feet approximately away from the brook if you did a site visit. So it's quite a ways from the wetlands. It's going underneath it. And this is what most everybody's doing. I talked to Jimmy Obenheim and he said they use it all the time. And they've used it in Alford and for 500, 600 feet. And it's-
We're familiar with it, Tim.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot less disturbance doing
Yeah.
it that way. So we went on a site visit
Okay,
and I'm not sure I'm clear where it is. It seems to me that you can't get from Tree Farm Road to the new house without going actually under the brook.
you have to go under the brook.
Okay, so that's our issue,
Yeah.
is that you're working in the resource area, which is why we have to have the notice of intent. It's
Okay.
not a really big deal,
Mhm.
because we understand the technology, but we need the paperwork.
Okay, I can do that.
So you can fill it out with the assistance of the person doing the work. Because as I said, we understand it and, we're generally pretty comfortable with that, but we just need the paperwork.
Okay, I'll get that done.
Maybe you should ask your son for some help.
Well, he's busy enough right now.
Yeah,
I've
right.
got more time than he has.
The things we do. for
So
our-
you'll get at least your that you're officially going to file by noon on Thursday, and I will advertise it for the next meeting.
Okay, and I'll make sure I get that notice of intent done for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you. We'll wait for that.
All right.
Do we have Eric at all? Eric, because too many W's, C's, E's, Y's, and K's.
This last year, he does the work with people and the trees. It's a way of it's communication with nature and trees to help people sort of, deal with stress and other stuff. He brought his mobile office to Gould Meadows, you may recall. Last year or 2 years ago, might have been
I
2 years
remember that.
ago. And the building inspector told him that he could not do that. So we're sort of part of the process and maybe he needs more input than just us, and that's why he's not here.
We have no idea what he's proposing.
I think the same thing. I think he wants to have, the occasional or small groups of people go and I don't mean to be flip because I've read a lot about this, but go hug trees and feel better.
Why?
I have a question. Why is Ned Baldwin, or our building inspector, why?
Because it was a mobile office or something. I can't remember what the issue was, but it was a building inspector thing. I know he's talking to Roxanne. So I'm assuming he's going before the select board for their blessing. And I am not really sure where it's going to go from there.
Good Lord.
From what I saw, that he had a camper parked there and was running out of doing whatever he's doing out of the camper.
Right, but that was an issue for Ned.
So why is it a wetlands issue?
It's not. It's a we are stewards of Gould Meadows issue. It's not a conservation issue.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll wait to hear more. 2 Beechwood Drive.
Hi, that's me.
Okay, talk to us.
Okay, my name is Susan Lazev. We live at 2 Beechwood Drive. We want to do a very small addition on the back of our house. And I was speaking with Ned, and he said he saw a blob on the plan, but he could not interpret the blob, and he referred me to you.
Well, if Ned can't tell what the blob is, I don't know how we're gonna either.
Well,
So what you need to do probably
yeah,
is have a map and maybe some stakes in the ground and go back and see Ned. So, and you can get the map from, who was it down the end there?
Mike Blay.
Mike Blay. You get a copy of it. You have you add to that copy your drawing. You don't need to show us what the house or the addition's gonna look like, but you can tell us what it's gonna be. If it's a deck or a porch or whatever, we need to know that. We need to know where it connects to your house and where your house and it sits on your property.
We'd also like to know the distance between that addition and the wetland or intermittent stream or stream that's in your backyard.
to my knowledge, there's no wetland or stream in my backyard.
Well, the map will show.
Okay, where do I get this map from? Because,
The assessor's office.
okay, thank you.
And you probably can get it just going online to the Mass GIS link in the town website.
Mass GIS?
Mhm. If you go into the assessors section, you'll
Okay.
see a Mass GIS. And you can get from the assessors section of the town, on the town website, there's a lot of stuff you can find out.
Okay.
And some of it will give you a map of the properties in the area. It'll also, there are other resources you can get from the assessor's site.
Okay, thank you. So just to be clear, Ned had implied that Ron would have to walk in my backyard, so that's not necessary?
Yes, it
Oh,
is.
it will be necessary.
Okay,
Someone will walk in your backyard. And
No.
we will let you know when we're coming.
okay.
It's-
And
It's required as part of the application for a building permit
okay,
that we get something that's called a jurisdictional.
okay,
And it triggers the Conservation Commission, members of the Conservation Commission to go and take a look at the property to make sure that we have no concerns about what's being done. And from our perspective, that would be either wetlands or, as John said, streams, or in some cases, it would be scenic mountains, but we have jurisdiction over some parts of the town, and we just have to say, yes, we see something we have concerns about, and you need to file a more extensive plan with us, or no, we have no concerns, and you can just go ahead with your plan with, as long as the building inspector approves it, you're good to go.
okay. And to what address do I send this information?
You need to talk to Ned.
He will forward it to us.
Jennifer, his secretary, will generate that piece of paper.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm all set?
Mhm.
Sounds
Okay,
like it.
thank you very much.
Good
Goodbye.
luck. What do we have for aquatic plant removal?
I saw Pat Kennelly. She was here. I'm assuming that this is weed harvesting. I'm not sure how far along we are with that.
I think what it's all about.
I don't know, Pat, are you representing Stockbridge Bowl Association on this, or where are we at on this?
No, Sally, I was actually tuning in to see if somebody else was bringing up the harvester, like Roxanne or something, to see what was happening with it. So no, I'm here as a spectator, not as a representative.
Okay, all right, then I don't think we have, unless Patrick knows something. don't know that we have anything official.
It was my understanding you were getting the NOI tonight. You didn't?
Sorry,
Well-
Pat, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to, I could clear some things up on that.
Well, let me just say, if we got the NOI, it wasn't advertised, so it's not official on this meeting.
Has not been submitted yet. It's still in the process of review with the select board. And we're hoping to have it to you very soon. And yeah, we have to sort out all the abutter notification, things like that, as there's quite a few of those. So we're hoping to present that to you at the next meeting.
If I don't have it by noon on Thursday, it won't be official at the next meeting.
Understood. We will
Okay.
try to get it to you before then.
Anything else? All right.
Oh, Ron, I don't know if it's on the agenda, and I don't mean to interject, but I was hoping we could talk about the winter property at 84 Interlaken Road. We were hoping to get a minor plan revision in terms of a French drain, which I presented to you at the informal meeting. So it's not on the agenda, but I was hoping. That.
Somebody's not muted.
Yeah, I'm getting an awful conflict of sounds here.
Yep.
Patrick, is that you?
Most people are muted, so we shouldn't have issues.
All right, Jackson, show us or tell us where this is going to be.
Sure thing. So it's, let me pull up the site plan here. So as you can see, it's at 86 Interlaken Road here on Stockbridge Bowl. It's Matthew Winter is the applicant. There's an order of conditions for all of this proposed work, and it's almost complete. Well, I should say is basically complete. They are preparing for their certificate of compliance phase, but before that happens, they wanted to submit this minor plan revision, which shows a proposed French drain system along the edge of the toe of this very steep embankment right here, because they're having some seepage issues. They're having quite a bit of water collect here, which then just flows down toward this beach and into the lake, which is obviously not ideal. So what they were hoping to do is install a French drain and an underground drain line to a yard drain here, which will all drain to this existing artificial pond. And that is the entirety of this minor plan revision. So we're hoping it could be approved under the current order of conditions.
What's the address of this, Jackson?
86 Interlaken Road.
And what's the equipment being used?
I imagine it'll be a very small excavator and likely maybe a skid steer just to carry soil up. The best route from the shoreline would be up around this embankment here and to the driveway.
What's there for vegetation now?
Right now, this is all existing lawn as I've seen it. I haven't been there in a little while. So this is all existing lawn is in stable condition as I know. And all of the erosion controls, to my knowledge, are still in place. So this work would be protected by erosion controls.
And, I apologize because I wasn't here.
No need to apologize.
But so is the water flow since the work has been being done on this project?
No, there has been some drainage issues there for quite a while. It's a wet area, and then there's this artificial pond here, which was put in by the previous owners quite a few years back. So this area has been wet as many times as I've been there, and just because it's at the base of this very steep slope, it drops about 30 feet over the course of 25 to 30 feet. So it's very steep drop off, and water from the hillside just kind of seeps out there and sits in the lawn. And this was all existing lawn beforehand as well. So I believe they've had the issue for some time. They just are hoping to address it at this point.
What is this French drain going to look like, Jackson?
Sure. It would look like this right here. So it'll be kind of just a little swale, and that'll be with crushed stone at the base, and then a perforated stone drain to carry all of that water to the artificial pond and to help it, integrate into the soil. So that's pretty much what it'll look like from a profile view. And I imagine it'll be vegetated with some native plantings or whatever landscaping plantings he has there at the moment. I don't think it would just be a lawn, seeing as it's right along the base of the cliff, or not cliff, the embankment here.
Okay, well, that should probably be a requirement that it be native plantings rather than lawn.
Sure. I think that is perfectly acceptable. I think this is kind of a landscaped embankment as it is. So I think they'd be perfectly fine with that being vegetated.
Jackson, how's this going to integrate into the soil if it can't get down into the soil now and flows across the surface?
Well, that's just the typical French drain design, is to help it infiltrate into the soil as it goes down through the pipe. In my opinion, it'll probably mostly end up in this artificial pond, which is can more than handle some stormwater runoff. It's pretty low at the moment, and has plenty of
Really? You think it's low right now?
Maybe not this week, but and when I've been in there in the past, it's definitely not at its capacity.
And when the pond is at capacity, where does that flow to?
It's a good question. I imagine it would just overflow out across the beach, which is obviously not ideal. But from
Jackson,
yeah,
Jackson, I think I want to see this.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we were. I sent you.
I heard first you were going to sell it, and then Larry.
We were hoping you might have been able to stop by last week, but we didn't manage to get a hold of anybody. So anytime you want to stop by this week, just let me know and I'll be there.
Anybody else want to see this?
Depending
Yeah,
on
I
when
do.
you go, I'd like.
Yes.
Pick a day.
Friday morning.
It's good for me. I can't do Thursday.
Me neither.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah, I can do Friday morning. What time?
We also.
10?
10?
That's okay with me. Thank you.
Did we want to go see the 2 Beechwood Drive after that?
Okay.
I'm okay.
I have a question, just because I thought that this was 84 Interlaken Road. This is 86 Interlaken Road, the place that they tore down and it's at the bottom of the cliff.
Yeah, sorry, that was my fault. I said 84 at the beginning. This is, yes, in fact, 86 Interlaken Road. I'm trying to remember the previous property owner's name because everybody seemed to remember it, but it's escaping me at the moment.
Yeah, no worries. I know where it is.
All right. Okay. We'll see you
Because
there,
I'll need
Jackson.
to, I'll need to post both of these site visits.
All right.
Where do you post them? Oh,
It's like any meeting, I have to post it in town hall
got it.
because people are nuts over open meeting laws.
If I might ask one more question that I don't see on the agenda is the 3 Ice Glen Road enforcement order. I just wanted to get a update on that.
That was.
In the works,
In the work?
in the works.
All right, well, they have a contractor standing by ready to get to work whenever the enforcement order is issued, so they're ready to get things moving.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, to the public hearing now. Bernard Hahn, anybody here on that?
still waiting, still
Continued.
waiting on Tri-Walk.
Continued.
So the request for certificate of compliance for Retrieve is now the enforcement order, so we need to figure that out.
I think hopefully they'll come back for that certificate of compliance in 2 years, once all of this has been completely mitigated.
And we need to close on the Prospect Hill project as long as everyone's okay with it. I am recused on this one.
Oh, yeah, okay. Make a motion to close that hearing. We
I'll
had-
second it.
It's just the other side of the gas line past Sally's house.
Yeah, I'm good to go on it.
All right. All in favor of that? Aye.
Aye.
Hi, John Hart.
Any opposition? All right. We'll close that. RDA for 42 East Street. Berkshire Engineering.
Hey, guys.
So that's another one that we did the site visit,
Yep.
and I think we were all okay with it, so basically we just need to close.
Make a motion to close it.
I'll make a motion to close out hearing on that.
I'll second.
Any opposition? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
Oh, yeah. I actually.
6 Brookside Lane. Where are we standing with that?
So this is Jim Harwood, and I'm representing the Glendennings. And at our last meeting, you requested language to modify the deed. We provided that. We confirmed that you had it at the last meeting, that it was not properly publicly noticed. And so now that this meeting's properly publicly noticed, we're hoping that the language you provided meets your concerns and that we can move forward with this steps and landing.
Sally, you all right with that? Have you got? the
Yeah,
copy?
it was fine.
All right. Make a motion, we close that hearing.
Second.
So that
There
would
was-
be, there's no conditions, right? Where it's a negative determination and we can proceed with the permit. So,
Yeah, negative, but not on totally unencumbered.
okay, we're going to modify the deed as you suggested, but we can
Right,
proceed with the permit filing, right?
yes.
And how am I going to make that clear to Ned?
You can tell him that we closed the hearing. I need a second.
I did.
Rob.
second.
Okay, sorry, Lisa. I don't hear you very well.
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim, if you have any problems with Ned, I'll be in to see him and I'll talk to him.
Okay, thank you.
Oop,
I'll tell him you said so.
I should have been muted.
Thank you. Good night.
So, Ron, 46 Lake Drive.
Really?
Oh, yeah, skip that one.
Yep, I'm
Sorry.
good for that as well.
No?
Refresh me on this one.
I can show the site plan on screen here if that's helpful. So essentially what's proposed is they're proposing to construct this 185 square foot screen porch. It's going to go completely on top of existing stone patio and existing deck. So there'll be no increase at all in impervious surface.
Yeah.
And then they're also going to be removing this deck
Hot
over
tub.
here, 115 square feet. So that will be reduction in surface as well. And they've applied for LPOD special permit for the removal of this in trade for this square footage here. So they're in compliance with that, and they've issued their special permit. So, yep, that's the entirety of the project, and they're proposing some straw wattles along the shoreline during construction of that screen porch. And the removal of this patio here. And that's the whole project.
What's going in where they're removing the tub area?
Nothing at all. That'll just be returned to lawn, as well as this patio area will all be returned to lawn.
Would they be open to something other than lawn?
I think they would possibly be open to some plantings along in this area, as there already are some shrubs directly adjacent to it. But I believe they would prefer to maintain this stretch through here, the pathway alongside their house as lawn, if that's acceptable.
If I remember this properly, there was not a lot of native.
Yes. Okay, great. If that works for you, I'll be there.
Lisa, can you get a little closer to your microphone?
Sure. I said I would like to see some native planting there instead of just lawn.
At the southern end here,
Yeah, but that's okay. If they want to put it there, that's fine.
I think that would be totally acceptable for, this 115 square feet to be some native vegetation rather than just turf.
Okay, thank you.
Jackson, on the final submitted plan, just show that, please.
Sure, I could get that to you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to get that to you before you make any kind of determination on this, or?
No, as long as we have it and I have the new dated, updated plan that I can attach to the, what is it, an RDA?
Yes, RDA.
Just as long as I have the right plan and it's updated, that's fine.
Okay, I can likely get to that to you Thursday. I'll be out in the woods tomorrow, so I'll get that to you Thursday.
All right, we'll close.
You can send it electronically.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your time. Good night.
Good night, Jackson.
We need a formal closing.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
I don't care.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? None. Okay, where are we?
We are at the Housatonic Railroad, which apparently nobody showed up for. And I think I saw, maybe he wasn't here for that, Nick Moy. Am I remembering correctly? He was one of the railroad people, maybe not.
No. The question is, the fact is I screwed up because I was supposed to have been down there. and Jamie didn't know where to go. I knew where to go, and whether they showed up or not, I do not know.
They
But
did.
I was there at 11 and then I went at 12 and I didn't see anyone.
Yeah, it's not right in the middle. I mean, it is in the middle of town, but it isn't.
He sent us an email saying that he wasn't there, I thought.
Hello.
I said, he sent us an email.
No.
And he,
Sally's got a piece of paper up in the air. I'm suspecting she's reading.
Sorry, I'm just,
So, yeah.
So I don't know if we can reschedule that or not.
Well, I'd like to, and you know, whenever, but you know, I do have some limitations, but not many.
Hey,
John, why don't I send you his contact information and you can reschedule with him?
And copy it to Jamie, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Jamie, you know what? You know it's one of those cars you have to push up and down on to go down
Oh.
the track.
Well, I'll get my exercise, or maybe John can get his exercise.
Oh, that's why I chose you. I figured the both of us, you know, what do they call those things? Hand carts. Hand carting down the track, and the Housatonic Railroad guys on the other side with his back to where we're going.
All right, one more here. Mackinac Terrace Association, stairs and railings.
Where?
Doctor. Oh, God. I thought I saw Dr. Anyway, I don't think we had any issues with that.
No, it's gonna be an improvement.
Good.
What was the improvement?
The stairs going down to the lake for Mackinac Terrace Association.
Right, but what's the improvement in terms of the
Well,
resources? So it's an improvement of the stairs, but wasn't it?
And the drainage along the side of the stairs
Okay,
is basically, there isn't drainage on the side of the stairs, let's put it like that.
okay.
The stairs are going to be made out of Florida.
I think maybe we need a little more information from them. They were gonna look into pervious pavers.
Right.
I don't know that they did.
And did we
Yeah.
condition plantings in the area by the stairs?
It's difficult to condition an RDA, but we can do the best we can.
And they were gonna do something about where the drainage came out to the, basically it needs a good cleaning down there. All the leaves and debris have been pushed into the tree line, and that's caused whatever drainage was there not to function. So maybe we should wait to hear back from them.
Okay. So that's it.
Performance standards are on here again.
Yep. I sent you some stuff, Lisa. Did you get it?
I did get what you sent me, and did everyone get the draft performance standards that I sent out?
Yes.
But I'm not sure. I'm not really good at the Conservation Commission website or email. So if you could send it to my personal email, that'd be great.
Okay, I can do that.
Lisa, you have it, because whenever I send out an agenda, I send it out to the group email as well as everybody's personal email.
Yes, I do have it. And John, I'll send it again. I thought I did send it to you, but I'm happy to send it again. I thought I sent it to your personal email, but I'll send it again.
I didn't get it, Lisa.
Okay, I'll send it again. So do you want to wait till everyone sees it to review it?
Well, I'd like to ask a question. missed last meeting because I didn't think we were going to have it. And I must have missed a meeting with regard to performance standards. And so can anybody bring me up to speed here?
Well, we haven't spoken about it yet.
Oh.
At the last meeting, we said I would send out the draft so people could take a look at it.
Oh.
Basically, what I used was Mass Wetlands Buffer Zone Guidebook. Go through the rationale for wanting performance standards for buffer zones. And they have a sample bylaw at the end of the book that lists the performance standards that they suggest.
Okay, so
Every person.
who's got something going on in the background? This wouldn't have any application to the fact that maybe the Concom should announce that it has its own performance standards for applicants that come in, and we go to the site visit, they with the plans or whatever, then somewhere midstream we go back again, and then, you know, obviously for the order of compliance, we physically go back there again. A 3-stage process. This has nothing to do with that, correct?
Yes, it could, John.
Well, does it currently?
Well, it doesn't exist yet. We don't have it yet.
Okay, I would like to throw my support for that 3-phase approach into the mix.
Mhm. I support your support for that.
We can,
I could go somewhere, but I won't.
we are permitted to develop our own performance standards under the town wetland bylaw. So there are a lot of things that we could and should do. And one, I would like to go back to, color of houses. I would really like to see town council come up with some language that we can use for that. Because around the lake and under scenic mountains, I still contend that the language that we already have permits us to do that, but town council didn't think so. So, because we've all seen what the really white houses look like around the lake as opposed to the ones that are not. And we've had some suggestions from a couple of people that we ought to think about windows. I know, John, you've talked about windows in Colorado. Non-reflective windows. There's also been some suggestion that we should think about windows that are not bird friendly, if you will.
So in terms of performance standards for buffer zones, though, is this the best process?
I think it's just all something that we need to consider as we go forward.
Sure.
I mean, I think the buffer zone thing is critical.
Yeah.
Because I think we've been steamrolled on the buffer zone
Yeah.
too many times.
As many communities have.
Just one comment, the bylaw allows us to develop performance standards. So you got to figure out a way to kind of keep it in that lane so that we are acting based on the authority we have under the bylaw. And all these other ideas are great ideas, but we need to, the ones like, unless we can make a case for painting the house a certain color as a performance standard, then it might be difficult.
Well, I still contend that the town wetland bylaw has the words aesthetic in it.
Yeah, but can it be defended?
Yeah, I think personally, I would keep that separate from.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, but as long as we're talking about what's important to us in the long run. I think that that's something we should consider.
So, Patrick, let me ask you, what's the process if we approve performance standards? Where does it go from there?
Well, my sense is, Donna Brewer, our town council, told me she has a lot of experience developing these. So I think that what we should do is sort of a first draft or something that's marked up, talking about what our intent is. Then I think we should get it to her and get some feedback and then approve it. And once it's approved, I would assume it goes on the town website with all of our other regulations.
So it doesn't have to go to town vote?
No, this is we already have a town wetlands bylaw, which gives us the right to develop performance standards. And many towns do this as a way to clarify what their expectations are from applicants. So all we're doing is clarifying, not creating any new authority.
So does it make sense if everyone reviews the draft and then at the next meeting comments on it?
Definitely.
It's whatever your guys' process is. That's up to you.
And then decides to vote on it at the next meeting, and then we can send it to the town council? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone need me to resend it other than John?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Can you send it again to me, Lisa? My home computer I just got a new official town computer, which is fine. My home computer, for some reason, does not seem to want to show me a Microsoft Word document. So I don't know whether that's a temporary or. So if you could send it to the town email, that'd be great.
Will do.
I
Thank you.
An ash tree?
Yeah,
What about mushroom trees? You gotta stop doing that.
I was gonna call you and ask your permission, but
Huh?
All right, any other business here tonight?
I just have a question, Ron, and I don't want to take up the committee's time, but it's just and it might be an historic thing. So I was at a sewer and water meeting recently, and Mike Buffoni was talking that he was going to meet with someone about the wetlands. I wrote it down, watershed inspection in the end of May. And I was wondering why Public Works does that and not the conservation. Is it because they're employees and we're just volunteers? I don't know. It just seemed curious. I don't think I'm not complaining. I just was curious.
What wetlands are they inspecting?
They're doing the watershed inspection. I guess it must be over by where our reservoir is.
Yeah, that's in back of me.
I could understand how maybe back when that was established and given to the water and sewer people, because they need to know or have some idea of what's going into Lake Averick. So they probably are doing this study. I mean, obviously they don't know about underground aquifers and stuff like that, but it's nice that they're doing that. I would say that's a good thing.
Okay.
Maybe we can ask them to send us the report.
Okay.
Are you going, Jamie, will you regularly attend that meeting?
Sometimes, because it affects another meeting that I am a part of.
The Stockbridge Bowl Committee?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So do you want to get in touch with Mike and say, hey, can you send us that report when it's done?
Sure, I can do that. Thanks.
Thank you.
What do we have to sign, Sally? Number at your house?
Well, it looks like I have a whole bunch of paperwork to do. So I will try and get that done before I leave.
You're not allowed to leave.
I'm leaving.
Good for you.
I will be gone as of the midday on Sunday through the following Monday.
Have fun. Do something memorable.
I'm taking my dogs to Ohio.
Oh, just the drive's gonna be the memorial. How many?
It's the Clumber Spaniel National Specialty.
Oh, good.
Just saying.
Wonder how many stops you're gonna make.
Now, they are so good in the car. We drive till we run out of gas, and then everybody gets out and does something, and then we keep going.
Sounds good to me.
Any other business? All right, so to recap, Friday, 10 a.m., 86 Interlaken Road, and probably
2 Beechwood Drive.
Yeah, 11:15.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it. I make a motion, we close this hearing.
Second.
Ron, can I just remind everyone, tomorrow evening, we are having a meeting with Randall, Aaron, and Jeff Lacy on the Natural Resource Historic Preservation Bylaw. We can't fit too many more initials on it. This is a form with presentations from those two people that have been working with the planning board. We have a rough draft. There is still a lot of discussion points that we are, or the planning board will be looking for input into, but we thought it was important that the open space part of the bylaw be part of a public discussion at this point. The actual adaptive reuse of buildings will be a second section at the end of what is being proposed. And that is not written at this point. We've delved into the issue and realized it was going to take a lot of work. And I think what the board would like to do is get the open space part through so that we have the protections when we are moving forward with potential development, because there seems to be some rumors out there, we don't know how true they are, that there could be people moving towards developing their property. And because the present bylaw causes such sprawl and limits options to 2 and 4 acre lots, this bylaw has a lot of potential, I think, for the town. So you can go to the planning board website on the agenda, and there's all the information about that.
Yeah, Christine, I have a question for you. Partway into your discussion, you used the term "we."
I know.
Who is this "we"?
It's no longer me. It's the planning board. And when we're the planning board, I have a tendency to still think about myself as being part of that group, but it's a mistake. I need to cut the ties, but I'm still there until next Tuesday. And so we're having this meeting. So it's still somewhat part of my responsibilities. And I have been the planning board liaison with these consultants.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that for us.
Christine, will this be recorded?
Yes, it will. CTSC will be recording it. And my understanding is that if you are going to watch the recording and you have questions, you'll be able to submit them to the planning board at the town website. And Jennifer will get them to the board for answers from the consultants.
Okay, thank you, because I can't attend tomorrow night.
I appreciate your interest, and I think it's going to be important for the COMCOM to see how this process is different than the traditional one. So, because for a project, there are standards, but it's a 4-step process where people start collaborating on first identifying the open space.
Christine, when did the planning board decide to drop from 80% to 70% in draft 6 of the open space protection?
There was a motion made at our last meeting. It was made,
No.
seconded, and passed, and so that is where the bylaw stands at this point. That was the planning board vote.
Can you repeat that? There was some confusion in my house. Can you repeat that, please?
Patrick asked about our changing the percentages of land. What originally was proposed is something that was density neutral. That meant that you could have the same number of units as you could have had with a conventional development. But the units would be on lots of 1 acre and 3 acres would be permanently preserved. When Jeff started working on the bylaw, he suggested we go to a density negative bylaw. And that would have meant that the open space amount increased to something up to 70 or 80%. That is no longer density neutral. And as the exploration took place as to how this bylaw would apply to certain properties, it was determined because we have so many wetlands and constrained properties that we would be changing the density. And Randall said that is something the town may want to do, but we shouldn't go in and change the zoning for the underlying zoning, the 2 and the 4 that have been so important for the town, by changing the density formula. So we're not trying to change the 4 and 2 acres. It's just the land will be preserved at a rate that is allowing lots that would be individual lots with 1 acre, and then 3 acres would be put into a conservation easement and available for all of the people who own property, and usually for walking trails and public access.
Are they considering wildlife corridors?
Exactly. Of course, Sally. I wouldn't.
Okay, just
be
making
voting
sure.
this if it wasn't. And one of the big issues is whether we deal with putting the houses on, in the open space or on tree, more, in the trees. And so that, that's also an interesting discussion. So it's really an environmentally focused bylaw. That's why the conservation department at the state level is promoting it. All the Mass Audubon from the very beginning back in the 90s was the primary sponsor of this, and Land Trust, just almost every environmental organization in the state, and actually home builders who have built under this bylaw like it because the destruction of the environment is much less if the homes are put closer together. So you don't have bulldozers ripping up miles of land to put in roads and infrastructure. So,
Christine, this all sounds so great. The devil's in the details, though. The current cluster zoning bylaw forces the planning board to respect the underlying 2 and 4 acre density limitations. The one you guys have written, the last draft I saw, gives you the right to override that by special permit. So in other words, any planning board in the future doesn't have to do all these great things, because all you have to do is issue a special permit and people can have as much density as they want.
that is absolutely false. No.
Read section D to me.
Well, you can ask Randall tomorrow night. He can explain all the details. But what happens is that this is a collaborative process between all the boards and commissions. And we're not, when you're talking about the special permit, that is for the adaptive reuse, and that's not part of what we're talking about with the land portion that is part of our discussions right now.
Joe, did you want to say something? Joe? You're
You're
muted
muted,
again.
Joe.
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay, I saw a little hand there.
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take over the discussion of your meeting, but I did want you to be aware that this is happening. And I think it's an important opportunity for people to understand. And Randall is just, he's been doing this since the late 1980s, I think. When I was working with him in New York State to save 70, we actually enacted legislation that has now saved 75,000 acres of farmland with conservation easements. So that's a different part of this. We don't have that kind of agricultural protection here, but it's something that has been refined over the years several times. And we are now working with a new state guidelines, and I'm hoping that people will start to learn about all of its advantages.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Tomorrow, what time's the meeting tomorrow?
6:30 on
6:30.
Zoom, and it's the regular planning board Zoom login.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me have some time. I didn't really mean to say more than I should have, but it's something I strongly believe in, and so I like to educate people whenever I get the chance.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night, John.
Good night, John.
See some people
Patrick.
Friday.